The U.S. men's national team is set to take on Panama in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Nations League this Thursday, March 20th. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the T26 channel where we talk about everything related to U.S. soccer. And today we're going to go over how the U.S. men's national team is going to line up against Panama on Thursday. I do want to clarify that I think this is what Mauricio Pochettino is going to do with our lineup based on what he's done in the past. However, we are working off a little bit of a limited sample size, so I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do, but I'm going to take my best shot at guessing here. And we're going to start things off at the back, and naturally, we are going to select our goalie. First and foremost, I believe that Matt Turner is still our starter. I know he hasn't had very much play time with Crystal Palace this season, and I've been critical of that. I was critical of his move back when he made it because we knew he was going to be second choice. But when he's been called upon recently, he has looked good. And ultimately, I believe that the starting spot with the U.S. men's national team is his to lose. With that being said, Zach Steffen has performed well enough for Mauricio Pochettino in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a look. Steffen put together a really good performance over the weekend for the Rapids, and that may be enough to get his confidence going where he looks great in training and he gets the nod. As we know, he is much better with his feet than Matt Turner, and he does have some shot-stopping capabilities as well. So I do think that this is a tight race, but ultimately, it is Matt Turner's position to lose. Before we get into our field players, I do want to say that I am looking at our team from a 4-2-3-1 formation perspective. And with those four at the back, we're going to have A-Rob on the left, Chris Richards as our left center back, Mark McKenzie as our right center back, and Joe Scally as our right back. In the past, we've seen a 4-2-3-1 from Mauricio Pochettino's team, but as we move forward in attack, we've seen Anthony Robinson push more up on the left side, and we look a little bit like a back three in possession, with Joe Scally coming a little bit more centrally and staying home defensively, because that's where we know he is strong. Moving to Thursday, I would expect to see something very similar to this, given our ability to attack Panama and our desire to be on the ball and on the front foot against them. Going into our midfield, I would expect to see Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie as our two in front of our back line. With that being said, I don't believe that they're going to be stagnant. I think that Tyler is our ultimate number 6 and a great destroyer for us, and he is going to anchor that back line. Weston McKennie is going to push up. He's going to be our box-to-box midfielder, and he's going to assist quite a bit in the attack, whether that be helping with the build-out or helping to create and getting on the end of things in the top of the box. That's going to be Weston's role. He's going to be free-flowing front, back, left, and right. And I think that that really fits our midfield well, especially in a game where I would expect us to dominate possession. Yes, Panama wants to be on the ball more than they historically have. However, I think we have the players and the pedigree to where we do dominate possession. Now it's time to move forward up the field and look at our first 3 attacking players. And I believe that we're going to have Tim Weah on the left, Christian Pulisic as that central attacking midfielder 10 role, and Yunus Musa on the right. And now I agree, I think Pulisic is best served on the left wing, but I think in this tournament, it's all about getting our best players on the field in a way that makes sense. And to have the best midfield, we need to let Weston McKennie drop back into that 8 position instead of forcing him into the number 10 role, and let Christian run the attack. Tim Weah, who is historically played on the right wing for us, did play on the left in the November camp, and he looked really good and really strong. I don't have any doubt in his ability to cut in onto his right foot and be a dynamic attacker, as opposed to his traditional role for us where he was on the right wing and bombing up and down to only funnel in crosses. Thankfully, those days are gone, and we do have some flexibility in our lineup and in where players fit in. Christian can then complement him. He can float up, left, or right, and ultimately be a creative attacker who's going to pick a pass for us. And then Yunus Musa on the right wing. I personally don't love this. I don't think Musa is a winger, but we have seen Mauricio Pochettino use him there in the past, and he seems to like him on the wing as opposed to in the midfield. Putting Musa out on the right wing, to me, it just makes sense, but it's also conceding a little bit that the primary point of attack is going to come from our left side. We can avoid that a little bit with our players' ability to interchange on the fly. I do believe that Christian is going to be able to float from the center of the park all the way out onto the right wing, and Moose is going to be able to tuck in and help us break lines on the dribble, just as Christian is going to be able to float left, where Tim Weah is going to tuck inside and help us create there. There is flexibility in this formation, and that is why I think it will be successful. And now that number one up top, it can be nobody other than Josh Sargent. He is our most established striker that we've brought into this camp, and he's been on fire for Norwich. 8 goals in 8 games, and we can't turn that starting position over to Brian White or Patrick Adjumant. Both of those players, they impressed Pochettino in the January camp, and they're here because Flo Balogun and Ricardo Pepi are suffering some long-term injuries, but we just can't turn that starting role over to them. They're both unproven at the national team level. Adjumant's just now breaking in. Brian White's been a journeyman in MLS, and I don't think that his game truly elevates to this level. Hopefully we see Josh Sargent produce with the national team, which is something we haven't seen him do for a long time now. He hasn't gotten on the score sheet in I don't know how long, and his last real quality minutes were with the U.S. men's national team in the World Cup, where he again did not get on the score sheet. I'm really hoping he can break through and get back amongst the goals for the U.S. men's national team, because if we can feel good about Josh Sargent, we know we can feel good about Ricardo Pepi and Fuller and Balogun, and that will solidify our top 3 choices at the striker position. So a quick review for us before we wrap up today. Our starting lineup will have Matt Turner in goal, Anthony Robinson on the left wing, Joe Scally on the right, anchored by Chris Richards as our left center back, and Mark McKenzie as our right center back. Just in front of them, we're going to have Tyler Adams as our 6 and Weston McKennie as our 8. Then we're going to have Tim Weah on the left wing, Christian Pulisic in the middle of the park, and Yunus Musa on the right with Josh Sargent up top. Let me know what you guys think. Am I getting the roster right, or am I reading Mauricio Pochettino's history completely wrong? What would you do? Who would you substitute in? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.